This is the Harry Loomis Show.
What? We are back here on the Harry Loomis Show. It is August 25th, 12:26 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, and I don't think I've ever been as shocked in a long time following a NASCAR race. We just had the Coke Zero Sugar 400 at Daytona, where Harrison Burton, of all drivers, just won. He got the lead on the last lap past Kyle Busch of all drivers and scored his first career win by 47 thousandths of a second. And I'm torn on this one. We're going to get into this in a little bit, talk about Harrison Burton, what this means for him and for Wood Brothers, his career. But first, I think we need to talk about the race. It was an absolutely wild one. First stage was fantastic. It was very Ford dominated. That was just a product of them taking most of the top spots in qualifying, which it's hard to really get a gauge on how good cars are going to be in the race from qualifying at Daytona, Atlanta, and Talladega because it's a single car run. That tells you nothing about how they're going to run in the draft. But Michael McDowell and Todd Gilliland swept the front row. There were a bunch of Fords up front, so they dominated the first stage, which ran caution free. Some really good racing throughout. William Byron was probably the best Chevy driver. Him and Kyle Larson were up front pretty quickly. But in the end, it was Josh Berry actually making a really good move to get around Joey Logano for the lead on the last lap of the stage and get the win. That's, I believe, the first stage win of his career. Joey Logano came in second, Chris Buescher third, which was huge for Buescher, getting those stage points, being that he is one of the drivers right on that cut line for the playoffs. Second stage, definitely not as clean. We had a big wreck on lap 61. Noah Gragson was a little bit squirrely after Corey LaJoie pushed him. He got a push from Kyle Larson beforehand. LaJoie went into Gragson as he was trying to correct it. LaJoie didn't back off in time, got into Gragson, and started a huge crash. A couple big hitters were taken out of that race. Ryan Preece, Denny Hamlin, Noah Gragson, Chase Elliott was taken out as well. But also before that, on pit road, an issue with Daniel Suarez's car. He was getting out, and Denny Hamlin was coming through. It looks like some gas dropped, and Hamlin ran over it. Fire ignited. Suarez backed up in his pit, and the entire back part of his car just burst into flames. Never seen anything like that in the Cup Series, in a Cup car in the next gen era. I don't think this is necessarily a next gen issue as much as it was kind of just unfortunate circumstances. The fire ignited. It just happened to it was just a really bad set of circumstances for Suarez, but that ended his day on lap 37. He wasn't in the top 10. He was running top 10 a little bit in that first stage, but didn't get any stage points. But that was definitely strange to see. So the race continued. There was one caution for fluid on the backstretch. Shane Van Gisbergen's engine exploded in a big way. So not a great day for Trackhouse slash colleague, which it was announced earlier today that Shane Van Gisbergen will be in the Cup Series full time next year. We knew that was coming with him, running Xfinity full time, winning three races. They got rid of Zane Smith. It was a no brainer. The only surprise is that he'll be driving the 88 car, not the 97, like everyone expected. But his engine let go on lap 80, and the race ended with an 8 lap dash to the finish where Joey Logano, with some help from Ryan Blaney, got the stage win. That's a big playoff point for Logano. He's not exactly going to be a high seed in the playoffs. He's only got the win at Nashville. I don't know if he's won many other stages. He might have gotten one at Daytona. I can't remember for sure. But another playoff point is huge for him. Ryan Blaney was second, Brad Keselowski third. Only drivers that got playoff points that were in that cut line are Buescher was ninth, Bubba Wallace 10th, so not much there. And then the race had a pretty long green flag run in the third stage. Drivers kind of saving fuel. Justin Haley was really impressive in that stretch. McDowell was leading before Haley made a really big bonsai move that had Michael Jordan shocked, and he was out front for 21 laps, which is really cool to see from Rick Ware Racing. We know Haley's good on super speedways. We know him and Rick Ware have turned heads this year. That was very impressive to see. A caution came out with John Hunter Nemechek trying to get down to the inside line to pit, and he clipped the front of Harrison Burton's car and slid through the grass. Could have ended bad, but he held on to it, didn't have any damage, was able to continue. And then 8 laps later on lap 153, a massive crash. Michael McDowell was way too far out front in the lead, and Austin Cindric in the outside lane got a very big run on him and got a little bit squirrely into turn one. McDowell spun, hit the apron, got hit by Joey Logano, and went sideways in the air, almost up in the catch fence. And if that car would have hit the catch fence, that race would have been over. Would have taken way too long to get that fixed. You can't race with that at Daytona, especially with how these cars are getting out of control. Very lucky that didn't happen, but that took out a multitude of drivers. It was McDowell, Larson, Bubba, Logano, Bowman, Reddick, Haley, Byron, Blaney, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, Stenhouse, Busher, and Austin Hill all involved in that accident. And it looked like we were going to have a 3-lap run to the finish with Josh Berry and Austin Cindric leading, which that would have been huge for Josh Berry. Kyle Busch was in third too. Very good chance to shake up the playoff points, but it wasn't meant to be. Kyle Busch was pushing, I think, Austin Cindric, and he got loose, spun up into Josh Berry. They both slid down the track. Berry got upside down, hit the wall head on his roof. Really scary to see, and then he got stuck. Just about the worst case scenario. It's bad to flip. It's bad to hit a wall head on. It's bad to be stuck in a car. That's three things I definitely wouldn't want to do if I were a race car driver. But the AMR safety crew did a fantastic job. They're the best in the business. I don't think we give AMR enough credit for all the work that they do, getting out to drivers as fast as they can every single accident. But they got him back up on his wheels, and he got out of the car, gave a thumbs up to the crowd, and in his interview he seemed completely fine. Really lucky that wasn't worse. So the race ended with Kyle Busch and Harrison Burton restarting on the front row. Busch had Christopher Bell helping him. Harrison Burton had Parker Retzlaff from the Xfinity Series working with him. And who do you think is going to get the better jump? Kyle Busch and Christopher Bell did, of course. Busch did a good job on the first lap of the restart, making sure Bell didn't get clear, because if Bell gets clear, then Bell's in the catbird seat. He can make his way. He can pick which lane, and Kyle has to answer pretty quickly. Good luck with that. But he didn't let Bell get clear. Come to the white flag. Busch went into turn one, and he made a mistake that's so easy to do, but he looked like he got a little bit too far out in front. The inside line didn't have a lot of momentum, and Burton got an unbelievable push from Parker Retzlaff before Retzlaff got squirrely out of the way. Burton cleared Busch for the lead, and from there, it was just a matter of Busch said in his interview he wasn't going to wreck him for the win. He tried to shoot high, he tried to shoot low. Burton went down below the yellow line for a minute, but he was already clear. It was contact there. He didn't go there to advance his position. He didn't go there just because he felt like it. He was just trying to catch the car, and he held on to it, and he got the win by 47 thousandths of a second. Lee Diffie's call, which, by the way, Lee Diffie was tremendous last night. Jeff Burton in the booth saying, "Jeff, your little boy's done it." Burton gets the win in his 98th career start. And here's the thing. I want to just talk about how awesome this is for Harrison Burton, a guy that has been in the Cup Series now. This is his third year. He struggled mightily. We all know it. He was 34th in points coming into this race. And a guy like him racing for his career for all intents and purposes. We know he's not going to be at Wood Brothers next year. We know Josh Berry's getting this ride. I just want to talk about how great it is that he did this. He is a Cup Series winner after everything that he's gone through. Today he won, and he's going to be a Cup winner the rest of his life. I just want to talk about how awesome it is for the Wood Brothers to get the win. It's their 100th win in the Cup Series, a team that has been in NASCAR literally since its inception. Since 1949, the Virginia-based team has always been a part of NASCAR for as long as NASCAR has existed. I want to just talk about how awesome of a moment this is, how great of a feel-good story this is. But 2 weeks ago, I was very adamant about my issues with the playoff format and why Austin Dillon didn't deserve to be in the playoffs, even if he would have won that race normally, because he was running terribly. He was 32nd in points before the race and was taking a spot away from a guy that was more deserving. Right now, that looks like it's going to be Bubba Wallace and Ross Chastain. So as happy as I am for Harrison Burton and that entire Wood Brothers team, I can't be unbiased and not talk about this fact. We're talking about the playoffs. They were talking about the playoffs the entire time. When Burton made the pass for the win, Lee Diffie said racing for a shot at the playoffs. Never mind the fact that he's racing for his career, racing for his first career win, racing to beat his former boss, Kyle Busch, in the Truck Series. No, we went immediately to the playoffs. I think that's a problem. Burton went from the 34th in points to winning and being in the playoffs. He was the last driver full time on points, and now he's a playoff driver. That's like the Carolina Panthers last year, going 2-14, but winning their 17th game of the season and making their way into the playoffs. It's just not right. That shouldn't be something that we're celebrating. I can't. I will. I will hammer that point home. It's not something that's good. That fact that a guy can leapfrog 19 positions basically. He's going from 34th to 16th. I guess it's 18 positions, bad math. But he's gaining 18 positions off of one race when he didn't even gain any points positions this week. He's still 34th in points. He's still running as bad as he had been this year, aside from today. He ran a great race today. He got the win. All credit to him. Again, I am so happy for Harrison Burton. He's an awesome guy from all accounts. I love seeing the Wood brothers win. Nothing, I have no anger, anything towards the 21 team winning this race today. It was so cool to see Jeff Burton celebrate as well. But the point remains that at the same time as Harrison Burton and the 21 team are celebrating going from 34th to 16th, which I think Bob Parker said is basically $3 million worth of prize earnings at the end of the year, which is huge for Wood Brothers, by the way. At the same time, you've now got a guy like Ross Chastain or Bubba Wallace, whoever's ahead in points right now, on the complete opposite side of it when they've been far more competitive all year long. Here's the question. If all three of them made the playoffs, Harrison Burton, Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, if they all make the playoffs, which isn't going to happen, who will run the least competitively? I think it's pretty clear to say it's Harrison Burton. I think Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace, from what I've seen, both of them made the round of 12 last year. Ross made the championship for the year before. I think it's pretty safe to say that of those three, Harrison would be the least competitive. So, congrats. You get this win. Congrats. You're going to get a bunch of money for your team. But we're celebrating a guy that we're going to be unceremoniously eliminating after the Bristol night race like it didn't even happen. We're going to completely disregard maybe the most feel-good win of the season for no real reason. Why don't we just celebrate the win tonight? He's still 34th in points. We're not even talking about how Harrison Burton's doing. We're talking about tonight. He ran the race of his life. He got a Cup Series win. He beat Kyle Busch, and now he's got some more leverage trying to keep his career going because he's a 23-year-old kid that wants to continue racing, even though he's not going to be in the Wood Brothers next year, probably not going to be in the Cup Series. Why can't we just end the conversation there? Why do we keep having to complicate things by talking about the playoffs? I don't want to have to talk about the playoffs when we're talking about a guy in 34th winning a race. Even if we had the top 30 rules still, which we got rid of, I think, in 2022, I didn't think it was an issue back then. Now I'm starting to see some of the problems with it. No one foresaw Austin Dillon and Harrison Burton winning in a 3-week span, both being sub 30 in points. But if that rule's in effect, Harrison's not going to get up to 30th in points and be in the playoffs in that scenario. And we could just simply sit back and talk about, man, this is the coolest thing for Harrison. We got to see the Wood brothers and a young kid win at Daytona again. Shades of Trevor Bayne, which, by the way, Brad Keselowski got a restart penalty in the 21 car. Won just like in 2011. David Reagan in the 6 car getting restart penalty. 21 car winning. I'm going to pull up that tweet. That was the craziest thing I've ever seen, by the way. But why doesn't the conversation just end there? We don't need to complicate things. This is an argument I'm not going to win. I know it. I'm totally okay admitting that. But logically speaking, why can't we just call it good there? I just want to say, Harrison, I want to come into this episode and just say, man, Harrison Burton just won that race, man. I can't believe he did that. That's awesome. He did everything right on that last lap. He made some big league moves. That's so cool. He held off Kyle Busch, who gave a great interview afterwards because he doesn't care about the playoffs. He just wants to win a race and keep that streak going. It was awesome to see Jeff Burton in the booth, do the big fist pump, high-fiving Steve Letarte and Lee Diffie, seeing his boy do what he's wanted him to do his whole life. The proudest moment of his entire life right there. That was awesome. I loved it. I loved every single moment of it. We had a great race. There was some carnage, but all the drivers were okay. And that was awesome. No, instead, we have to have this conversation once again. Is this what we want? Yes, it's not going to change, but is it what's best for NASCAR? Is it what's best for the competition? I know it's an entertainment sport, but at what point does the entertainment go too far and completely ruin what makes NASCAR so great? That's the question we need to ask. But once again, I'm not going to beat a dead horse. I'm happy for Harrison Burton. I cannot stress that enough. I love seeing first time winners. We haven't had a first time winner all year. It's been since Shane Van Gisbergen back in 2023 at Chicago in his debut. If you're looking for full time drivers, go back to 2022 when you had Cindric, you had Briscoe, you had Chastain, you had Reddick, and you had Suarez. Though it's been that long since we had first time winners. I thought it was going to be Ty Gibbs next. It's Harrison Burton. Who would have thought? I don't know if I can't think of many bigger upsets in my time watching NASCAR than this one. Right off the bat, I go to Shane Van Gisbergen, I go to Michael McDowell in the Daytona 500, and I go to Trevor Bayne in the Daytona 500. This is quite simply shocking, but it's super cool to see. He deserves it. He earned that win today. I just wish we didn't have to talk about all this other stuff. But we're going to call that race good. We have one race left in the regular season, and it's one of my favorite races of the year. We've got the Southern 500 at Darlington. I think this might be the toughest race on the schedule. That's why I love it so much. It is a complete test of man and machine. There is such little margin for error here. It really shows who the best drivers are, in my opinion. And we had a great race in May, a 400 miler, a 293 lap race. Tyler Reddick dominated, which, by the way, he's in great shape to win the regular season championship, even though he had some issues today. Reddick dominated the race. Buscher was leading late, made a great three-wide move on Reddick and Keselowski. Reddick tried to slide him with about 9 laps to go, put them both in the wall. They finished 32nd for Reddick and 30th for Buscher. Brad Keselowski ended up getting the win, his first in almost 3 years, holding off Ty Gibbs. I think this is just a race where some of the big drivers are going to show up. Kyle Larson won this race last year. He's always been fantastic at Darlington. Denny Hamlin's another guy that's been very, very good at Darlington in his career. I picked Ross Chastain before the season, and that could be a huge pick because Chastain, obviously, he needs to win a race to get into the playoffs. Right now, Chris Buescher, who almost won this race earlier in the year, finished third in the Southern 500 last year. I think last I saw has a 21-point advantage over the playoff cut line. So as long as there isn't a winner outside of the playoffs, he's got a great shot to make it in. So I honestly don't know who I'm going to pick for this race. I'm not going to pick Chastain. I don't think anyone in the playoff cut line is going to win this race. I think I am going to pick Tyler Reddick, though, because Reddick was the best driver, had the best car last time we were here, ran a great race back in the Southern 500 last year as well. He just about won that race. He led 90 laps, finished second, made a mistake on pit road, trying to get down. I think he made contact with Ryan Newman, brought out a caution, kind of messed up the cycle. Larson got out ahead of him after that, but I think Reddick is such a smart driver right now. Today wasn't the finish he was after, but he's been on such a hot run. He's learning how to take care of his car, like I've talked about. He's getting the finish he deserves, and I think he's going to lock up the regular season championship with his third win of the season next week in the Southern 500. So that's going to do it for this late night episode of the Harry Loomis Show. Once again, congratulations to Harrison Burton. Old Harry B got him a win, so happy for Harrison Burton and the Wood brothers seeing 100. I've always waited for the day to see it ever since Ryan Blaney got number 99. It's always a good day in NASCAR when the Wood brothers win. Love seeing these smaller teams that's just continue to work, have a good day like this. So we're going to call this one good. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm going to get some sleep. So have a good one. We'll talk to you again soon.
This is the Harry Loomis Show.